Alright, hey, what's going on? Cam's Astrology now. This is part 2 on understanding the sign of Taurus. I did part 1. Just check out the channel. Check out my channel, Cam's Astrology. And in this one, I wanted to talk about planets in Taurus, the basic inclination of what planets are doing in Taurus. The house, what it means when the sign of Taurus is in a house, and the time of year likened to the sign of Taurus, because every sign is related to a part of the year, a part of the month, a part of a person's life, and it just breaks down. So the basic inclination of planets in Taurus is, you could think of one word is survival. Any planet there, they are thinking survival. They are thinking, what do I need? My energy is for this person to survive on this physical earth, and to ensure physical security, and to ensure that something grounded, practical, long-lasting, stable lasts, over time, over periods of time, something that is stable and grounded, that ensures survival. So any planet you're talking about, Sun, Moon, Jupiter, all of those planets, they are thinking survival. Like if the soul is born with, like, for instance, Jupiter and Taurus, that energy of Taurus, that energy of Jupiter, that energy, all the planets are energy, they're forces. They're forces. And for instance, a planet like Jupiter, it wants to teach. It wants to do what it does. It wants to expand. It wants to broaden its horizon. It wants to see what's out there. It wants to just keep, expanding horizons, and being adventurous and finding out the meaning of life. To survive. That's what example of, like, Jupiter and Taurus. Any other planet. That planet is doing what it's doing in order to ensure this person's survival. It's very simple. Very simple to understand. Now, when Taurus is in a house, it does basically the same thing. So what happens is, let's use the same example. Taurus would be in the ninth house, because in your birth chart, and we're not just talking about sun sign being a Taurus, we're talking about the entire scope, the entire birth chart, not just the sun sign, like me being an Aquarius, or the other person being, oh, that's an Aries, or, and that's all people think astrology is. And it's not. And people read their horoscopes, their monthly horoscopes, their daily horoscopes, and just be like, this bullshit. It don't sound shit like me. It doesn't even make sense. And they'll go and try it, and it'll go wrong for them, because they're just basing it off just the sign, just the sun sign. You have a whole birth chart with all the planets, not just the sun, and all of the planets are sitting in houses doing different things. You have to look at all of those things. So when Taurus is in the ninth house, or any planet, what happens is that planet, that sign, takes the agenda of the house it rules wherever it goes. So you got a birth chart. Taurus rules the second house, Aries the first house, Gemini the third, Cancer the fourth, all the way around to Pisces in the 12th. That's the original, what the signs originally rule. And it could be for anywhere. The signs can be, like, Aries could be in the 12th house. It all depends on what sign was rising when you was born. But anyway, when any sign is in a house, it takes the agenda. If it's not in the house that it originally rules, like Taurus, if Taurus is not in the second house, it takes the agenda of that second house to the house wherever it sits. So, second house, you ask what second house is in this case for Taurus to understand, really understand what Taurus is doing. Second house is basically the same thing as Taurus. It's survival, but the house is really the meat and potatoes of it, because the house is where the activities are taking place, and it'll always be there. But what Taurus does, it takes those activities to, let's say, for instance, the ninth house. And like I said, second house is basically everything Taurus is. It's just Taurus is, the signs are the how. The houses are what areas of life. They're just different areas of life. And it's 12 houses. So when Taurus goes into the ninth house, it's going to take all that survival. Okay, I need to survive. Okay, what do I need to survive? Okay, I'm gonna use my talents, and I'm gonna try and make money off of it. You see what's going on. That's how Taurus, people with a lot of Taurus in their chart, they're naturally like that. What can I use from this earth, this thing that I'm on, this earth, because Taurus is a earth sign. They're fixed earth. And they're all about, like, what do I have on this earth and that I can use? What possessions do I have that I can use to help me survive? What talents do I have? What resources, actual resources, but just resources, just stick to resources, do I have in order to ensure my survival on this physical earth, on this physical plane? And then it takes those activities of that second house into the ninth house. What is the ninth house? Ninth house is your beliefs, where you are. A lot of lectures take place. A lot of long speeches, like lectures. This is where you listen to lectures, where you get the higher knowledge, the PhDs. You sit in the classes. I know y'all for who your college in there, and everybody knows about lectures. You getting a stretched out long, and one person is talking for hours and hours about, and you get the higher wisdom. That's ninth house. Anything that is higher than wisdom, it is it shows you your highest dharmic path. The dharmic path is just the righteous path, the right thing to do. Like, what am I supposed to do? What is the right thing to do? And the highest of highs that will show you that is the ninth house. It's also the house where you get involved with other cultures, people of other cultures, other religions, other morals, other beliefs. It is the house of long distance travel, philosophy. It goes on and on. But a basic thing for the ninth house is, okay, what am I supposed to do? What is the purpose of life? What I need guidance. It's your house of your guidance, your gurus, your teachers. So what Taurus does here is Taurus says, in order for me to survive, I have to believe in using the natural resources of this earth, or the resources that are available to me naturally. I have to use my survival instinct. I have to use, not my survival instinct, but in order to ensure my survival, the second house, remember, it takes the agenda of the second house into the ninth. It means, I have to apply my morals. I have to do the right thing in order to ensure my survival. You understand now how this works and what a sign is doing in the house. It's easy to know, like, okay, what Taurus does in that second house. It's home. It's okay. It's nothing new. They're basically the same thing. It gets fun when it goes to another house. It gets, because they're taking different things, like it becomes fun. That's the word I use. So, for this example, these people need to believe they have to have their gurus. Their teachers will teach them how to survive. All the nice house things become the means of survival, the means of getting possessions, like your savings accounts, all your possessions, your material possessions. This is all Taurus stuff. This is all second house stuff. And then when it goes to the ninth house, your gurus are going to teach you these things. They're going to show you these things. You're going to get the higher wisdom about accumulating wealth or whatever it takes, whatever you feel you need to survive. And when Taurus is in the ninth house, that means, let's see, Aries, I believe Leo or Libra is in the second house. Yeah, Libra's in the second house. So relationships, those things, relationships, everything about Libra, relationships, balance, equality, accommodation, things like that. But basically sticking to Taurus. That's what Taurus does. That's how you can begin to understand. And any house it goes to, any other 12 houses it goes to, is going to take that survival instinct into that house and be like, okay, here's where I'm at for this birth, and this is the things, these are the people, this is the area of life that will ensure my survival, and I will derive my resources from, like the ninth house, as I was saying, the gurus become resources, the teachers, your wisdom, your higher philosophy, your higher education. And I'm not talking about like bachelors, but like more and masters, but like the PhDs, those way up there, those things, like you might use their education to survive. And that's basically how you can understand what Taurus is doing in the birth chart, and in any sign, in any house. That's what it's going to be doing. They're going to be taking those second house things into that house, and that will ensure their survival. Now, the last thing is I wanted to point out what's really important is the time of year that is related to Taurus, so you can understand even more. I think this will bring it home. Basically, from about April 23rd to about May 22nd, 23rd, somewhere around there. I use the Western system dates, the birth dates for the signs. And about April 23rd to about May 22nd, 23rd, somewhere around there, is Taurus, right? That's the Taurus sign. What is going on during that time of the year? That's how you can understand the sign and what a Taurus or somebody with a lot of Taurus in them, in their chart, is about, and what they're doing. Always you can relate it to a time of the year. It's beautiful. So what's going on is from about April 23rd to about May 23rd, 22nd, somewhere in there, you're planting crops. It's springtime. Spring has set in. Fixed, set in. Taurus, fixed. See what I'm saying? Spring has set in. Now it's time to, now it's spring. Now it's not going nowhere. That's how you can understand this. Understand this sign. Spring is set in by that time, right? Basically. And, now it's time to plant the crops, do things like that. Plant the crops, do I think the word is harvesting. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. I'll find out the word, but it's where basically you're planting, just planting roots, planting roots. That's how you can think of it, like the farmers. They planting roots at this time of the year, getting ready. Okay, now it's set in. See, in Aries, back, starting spring, you got so much going on, so much energy going on. You got seasons switching over. You got the trees bustling, turning green, and animals coming out of nowhere. It's a lot of activity. That's what the sign of Aries is. You see what I'm saying now? For that, from about the end of April to about the end of May, spring has set in. It's calmed down. It's calmed down. It's not so much activity going on. Now's the time to really dig in, bear down, and be practical and be down to earth for this gap of time that I'm talking about that is ruled by Taurus. And this is what the mentality of these people, the drive, the inclination of Taurus people, not just Taurus, Taurus people are thinking about, and how you can understand them. Understand springtime from about April 23rd to May 23rd, and think about spring being set in and people putting crops down, people assuring that they will survive. Same thing I've been saying, but you understand it in a different sense now. And that's my little take on the sign of Taurus. I hope this helped. I pray it does. Leave comments, man. Leave comments. Like, subscribe, share. If I can make these videos better, please comment and, can you add this? And I'll come back and do that. I have no problem doing that. So I hope this helped. Hope you understand the sign of Taurus better. And